Hello and welcome to yet another talk with me, Ulrika Karlsson, and my beloved and very wise friend, Susanna Silverhøj. This talk today is about magical frequencies, energies, and how we raise our energy to higher frequencies. But first of all, welcome you who are listening, and also welcome to you, beloved friend. Please let us know who are you and what brought you here today? What knowledge brought you here today?
Thank you, Elise. It's lovely to be here with you and with you guys listening. And I think that we have spent so many hours and lifetimes, I was going to say, together and explored about the energies and the vibrations around us that creates everything. And we have realized that this is now there's actually a lot of things that are easy to do to raise our frequencies. So I'm going to share my screen here. And see. Come on. There we go. Can you see this? Yeah. Okay. So Ulrika and I wrote the Holy Fucking Sacred Water book, The Secret Connections to Everything, back in 2020. We realized that this is probably a bit ahead of its time, but I can also feel like now more and more people are kind of accepting and realize a lot of the truths that we have written about. So maybe we could start, Ulrika, to share a little bit about what do we mean when we talk about a holy fuck, because some people get quite offended when they just like and think it's rude, or for that, even hearing the title. There's a lot of people getting offended these days, so let's explain what do we mean by the holy fuck.
Yes, thank you. So for us, the holy fuck is the divine merge, a divine merge of polarities, like the feminine and the masculine, yin and yang, the water and the fire elements, the sun and the moon, etc. Because we know that everything in the world today exists in different polarities, and they are needed to complement and to sort of connect to each other. So a holy fuck, the book Holy Fuck actually started as a book about sacred sexuality, but while we were writing the book, we discovered that the holy fucks are so much more than sacred sexuality, and that, we can see holy fucks in our everyday lives, from the smallest of things, like to microcosmos, micro perspective, out to the universe in macro perspectives. So a holy fuck pretty much is like the divine, the conscious merge of two polarities, complementing and connecting to each other.
And sparking new life from that. The creation of the new that comes like when we are the masculine and feminine is merged. It's like it creates the synergy effect and the creation that comes from that, like the man and the woman creates a baby type of, there's new life that comes when we start to merge. And that goes with everything, even if it's just like also the positive and negative, which is then related to these the frequencies of the energies of the polar opposites to create electricity. Just to say another example. And when then the sacred water. So we have created a video called the Living Water that you can find on this channel. So to know a bit, go deeper into the water aspect, you can watch that video. But it's the inner and the external water and how it all connects then. But what do you want to say about that, Phyllis?
So yes, as you said, the holy fuck is a new creation, whether it's a thought, neurons firing, and we know that water is the conductor for electricity, and we are energetic beings, and we know that we contain approximately around 70-75% of inner water, meaning that the water in our bodies are transporting the electricity, the current, the information to our cells, etc. And the water within us also are, on a cellular level, and in our DNAs, the water exists. And so the holy fuck is the merge of the spark that ignites and then the water element that conducts, sort of, to say it easily, really. But the sacred water within us are most of the time, for most of us, very polluted due to our lifestyles, due to our stress, unresolved emotions, whatever it is that we are thinking and, taking into our bodies, food, medications, drugs, etc. So they are very much connected from a micro perspective in our cells all the way to the universe, where planets are made of water, and then there's the eternal sun, or like the fire element. So we can see it everywhere in nature.
Definitely. So one other aspect of actually how you mentioned how they actually connect. It's just like the spark of the creation of this new, and then how the water brings it through our systems and conducts, and again is the macro and micro and meso, for that matter. So it's on all levels and all dimensions. And I think that a lot of times we don't realize how everything is connected, how much trauma and emotions and things we actually hold in our bodies, creating blockages, and the blockages then it gives us symptoms and create diseases. So also how to start to look and experience how the different levels and the layers, it's like peeling the onion of things to really get to be able to clear and to raise our frequencies. And there are so many tools we can use, and we will talk about some of our favorite tools that we just discovered a few months ago. So later on today, but is there anything else you want to add, Liz?
No, let's move forward, flow forward.
Yes, we flow forward. So Liz, let's hear a little bit about you.
Yes, so I'm a yogi. I've practiced yoga and other holistic disciplines for more than 28 years, and I was very, very sick. I was depressed and suicidal. So yoga for me was a tool to raise my energy and to raise my frequency and to sort of clear out everything in me that was polluted at the time. So a lot of traumas, unresolved emotions, stress, etc. So over the time, I've also started to become a yoga therapist to help and guide people more holistically than like I'm, for instance, a physiotherapist. So when you are a yoga therapist, you have all these dimensions that Susanna was mentioning with you when you see your clients and when you guide them more into self-care and self-healing. So I'm also an author of 5 books, where 4 are international and 2 with dear Susanna. And just to mention that the book Holy Fucking Sacred Water was mentioned as the book of the year by its readers, and we are up for the second edition with even more magical frequencies in it. I'm a speaker, a spiritual teacher. I'm a teacher as doing trainings for people, and I'm also a life designer. For me, it's about guiding, inspiring, and empowering people back into themselves so they can empower and heal and grow. And what about you? Who are you, Susanna?
Yes, who am I? Yeah, it's the question we all have, isn't it? It's like, who am I and why am I here? And I think that is been driving me for a lot of years to really figure out, and also then come to a place where I feel that I can assist and support others to take that journey. So that's also why I call myself like a life designer, because it's about taking back the power and know who we are, and then create the reality and life we want to have from there. And instead of having others to place us in a little box, that we created the life, we design our own life on all levels, that the way that feels most in line with who we are. I'm an author as well. So Ullis and I have 2 books together, and one is a Swedish about feminine leadership. I have one in a cookbook in Danish, and then there's a lot of other, mainly in the English books that we have done, or I've been part of. I've been a podcast host of the Live the Impossible show, where we interviewed a lot of amazing people. We had like listeners in 119 countries. So it was an amazing journey that we've taken. We've had Ulrika on as a guest several times, and had a lot of fun with that. I'm a speaker, mentor, and guide, and I have world educated my kids for many years now, where basically we travel the world to have them experience the world instead of reading about it. So it's to really get out of all the comfort zones and boxes of where now I have a wet dog here. Oh, but yes, to enjoy and find who we really are and empower ourselves and take responsibility for what we are creating. I want to give a little disclaimer for when we talk about the things we talk about. We are not doctors. We do not give medical advice. We don't say that anything will cure anything, because we are all different, and we can only share our own experiences and opinions, which means that you always consult your doctor or a healthcare professional about you, about what's yeah. So we don't say we cure, or this is the answer. Only you have the answers for what's best for you. But let's start with a little bit about the disconnection, because it's like we write a book about the connection to everything, and yet we never been more disconnected from things that are natural than today. And I think that for me is why we have so much suffering in the world, and people on all these different drugs, and people are miserable. There's all these diagnoses of everything, and diseases, and mental or psychological or physical. It's so much stress, and in the reality, and everything is so artificial. If you just look at the image here, you have the square buildings, this street. That is not how it works in nature. You know, there's no flow here. There's like if you would be water, would this feel a natural flow? So it has no life force to it. It's very dead and dense. So no wonder a lot of people feel miserable and disconnected from themselves as well.
Yes, for sure. No, there's no flow at all in this photo, and the energy is very low and very superficial. And we are from nature, meaning that we are natural beings. And the more we distance ourselves from nature, the more we also distance ourselves and from others. As a yogi, we are always talking about the root chakra, that we are not connected in the root chakra. And that's why the energy is drained from the root chakra and up in the head space. So where we can live in places like this. And even you can see in these like skylines, when we live up here on the top floor and we are not grounded, we are far from Mother Earth. And everything in nature is energy, meaning that we are energy, we are energetic beings. And many of us loves to be in the nature because nature has natural so-called negative zones, which is positive for us humans. So that's why we want to go out in nature a lot. We want to do golf in the nature. We want to be on the beach, etc., because it makes us feel good. It feels great when we are in the frequencies of the nature. But then we come home to the skylines, or to the hamster wheel or whatever, where we are living and putting our energy into it. And then it's not the same high frequency. So then again, in order to feel that high frequency, many of us goes out to nature because we are not there yet. So we have to look at higher frequencies from external sources like the nature.
Absolutely. And again, the disconnection, that even the when we use concrete and things like that, it's not as easy to actually ground as if we walk. And also with our shoes, we have it doesn't have the grounding effect as if you walk around barefoot or on the beach and things like that. So there's we go more and more into AI reality, or the dead energy. There's no vitality, which is like a bit scary when you start to look at it. Because as you said before as well, because everything is energy, and even these artificial things is actually if you start to look at it in a microscope, you can see that even a building has a lot of space, and there's it all vibrates. So everything is energy that we experience, and even that energy is the building block of all matter. So from the tiniest little cell to these big houses of rock, everything is just energy. And if you go and look in the microscope close enough, you will see it all vibrates. It's not even it's actually what it is. It's the photon lights. Everything is made of photons, which is light. We exist as photons, and the photons, if you look at the human being in the dark, we would actually have a tiny glow to us. It's because it's the vitality and the life force glows, and this is like the photon light. And it takes, depending on the frequency of it, how it moves, it has different tones and sounds. So they sound differently, and they take different shapes and form depending on what frequency they vibrate at. And I think that the more compact and like a rock feels quite, it vibrates at the lower frequency than, for instance, a thought. We can't even see that. So, but it's still an energy field around us of that thought. Then there's just like a different layer to that, that thoughts have different frequencies. So vibrate, but it's still like a range.
Yes, and for sure, everything is energy, and energy comes in different shapes and forms and different vibration and frequencies. And energy never dies. This we know. Energy just takes different shapes and forms. And like the eternal energy within us, some people call it the soul, or, you know, whatever. I call it the soul, and that is originating from source. So the thing that is eternal within us, the soul never dies, even though that me as a yogi, we believe in reincarnation, because again, energy never dies. It just takes different shapes and forms. So in this lifetime, I am in this body and in this shape and form of a woman, for instance. Yes.
You can also say that in how I experience this, also that everything changed, that it's not the only thing permanent is who we are. That's the essence, the core. That's so we have thoughts, we have emotions, we have a body, and that changes, and that's energy. But who we are is always permanent. That's the only thing that never changes. That's like how I see it. And we can look at here at how actually when we look at the different vibrations and sounds, so you can see that we have the 3,000, 4,000, it takes different shapes and forms. So the sound creates different shapes. So it's like, so this is like a well-known experience, a scientific experience, that how everything is takes different shapes depending on the frequency of it vibrates at.
And it's the same with our own voices. Like we can hear on a person's voice, the energy of the voice, whether it's a low or high frequency, a low or high pitch. And our thoughts, as we have said, are energy, and the way I'm thinking about myself and others, and, you know, my perception is energy. And this is also the video we were just looking at with different frequencies. This is also how we can change our energy and change our vibration, get magical frequencies by the way we change our thoughts. So if I have thoughts that I'm not good enough, then there's a low frequency to that, and there's another pattern, another form, other feelings connected to that. And if I have thoughts that, you know, everything is possible, I'm possible, I am divine, etc., then this is the frequency that is, you know, being transported inside of us with the element of the water as the conductor. So and we also know that most things we see here on Earth has once started as a thought. So thought becomes things. And when you have the thought also connected to an emotion, because emotion have different range of frequencies, whether it's a low frequency or high frequency. So this is also how we can change our inner frequency and raise our vibration.
Yeah. I find it so amazing when you see that these different frequency, how different shapes it and forms it has. And if, you know, Tesla, he said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That's all it is. And out in in the what. So one thing that people are always wondering about and have a lot of fear about the dark. So the empty space, the void, is the pure potential. It's not have not gone into light, which is then it hasn't come into form yet and matter, so we can't see it. So I think that one of the things that we write about in Holy Fucking Sacred Water is the different types of dark, that you have the pure potential of manifesting anything. We bring it from this pure potential into reality, into matter through the light. We bring it into the light. These potential is, and then you have the shadow sides, which is just what the blockages and programs and things that is not who we really are. And then you, of course, then you have the more evil, dark type of things. So I think when instead of just bringing all the dark into one and the same thing, it's to also see there's different types of darkness we're talking about, and the pure potential darkness, the space void is where everything is manifested from. So I think that's also the holy fuck in that sense.
So it is, and also we need the dark, we need the contrasts to compare and to have something to be conscious about, because how can we see the stars in the night sky if they were not in the dark sky? We can't see the stars in bright daylight. So it's needed, and these polarities comes with different energies and frequencies, as do everything that we think, say, do, act, and this range of emotions where there are low frequencies emotions and high frequencies. So this is, again, we can choose as free souls with a free will, we can choose our inner reality.
Exactly. And to take this also to a different level, because something that is also they measure on daily basis is the Schumann resonance. I think they've measured that for like 100 years, and that is also the energy electromagnetic field that surrounds our planet and our bodies as well. We also have electromagnetic field around us, like a torus. And through, for instance, by lightning, it charges. So it's like we get these boosts coming in, like through lightning or solar flares and things like that, to charge our planet. And one of the things that is quite interesting is that the natural heartbeat rhythm of the Schumann resonance that measured is 7.83 hertz. And it's been constant for decades. But then in early 2000s, they started to see that a little bit of more of a peak. And as you can see here, there's all these white peaks coming out. So this is like where we are boosted and charged with higher frequencies to the planet. And actually they start to look into that we probably will have a higher than 7.83 frequency as a new normal. So it might be higher. So this constant might change, but our bodies are also the 7.83. That's when we are balanced and when we are connected with Earth. And this is the frequency of the alpha and theta brainwave frequencies in the brain. So when we tap into this, like if you heard of a theta therapy type of, I don't know, now I lost the name of it, but basically we feel often very relaxed and it's when the healing process happens in our bodies. So when we can get into this by meditating. For instance, you have some yoga practices, breathing practices that brings us into this theta brainwave frequency. But then what happens when these peaks are coming in? So we don't realize that on days we might feel totally wiped out, and then you start to look at what's the human resonance today, and you can see that it might go up to, there's been measured up to 6,000, I think that's the highest they have measured. The interesting part is that it was a place in Italy where they used to measure it. That's now removed. How much of all these peaks that are coming in are natural or created at CERN or HARPA and things like that? It's like a different discussion we won't go into here, but it is very interesting to see, again, the micro macro aspect through the lens of the Schumann resonance.
Yes, and I also feel that this is in alignment with that we are, you know, as souls, we always want to evolve. We are in the midst of a huge evolution in us, you know, as a race, human beings, and that we need to raise our consciousness. We need to be more aware of the energy, how we treat ourselves and others and Mother Planet. And we need to raise our vibration. We need to come back to our original state of being, divine state of being. And so this is also, I think, as you said, that in the long run, we might have other hurts because the earth is also evolving, and we who are her children evolves with her.
Exactly. And there's a scientist called Dr. Pauluk. He talked about this from like the internal magnetic fields, that how much electricity we actually create in our bodies. And I remember, and I cannot for my God find it again, but I found a study when I was working as a senior lecturer at the university college, and I remember that they had measured the electricity that one body holds. So let's say that my body would die. The energy that body, if they would use that energy, it would be able to sustain all the electricity grid on Manhattan for 4 days and nights. It's just like flabbergasting to even think about. Can you see how much electricity they would use on Manhattan? And one single body. Can you see the potential we held of the power we all hold if we all could just tap into a little bit more of that energy?
Yes, we are natural powerhouses for sure.
Yeah, literally. And we are just like a battery. And this is in each of our cells. And so the electricity is mainly in the cell membrane, so around the cell core. And so basically that's just like where we charge the up our with photons, the with life force, basically.
Exactly. And as many of us, we charge ourselves, you know, in nature with yoga, with breathing exercises, with this magical wand that we're going to talk about soon. We charge ourselves with food, with the loved ones, but we also discharge ourselves sitting in front of computer, scrolling at the cell phone, thinking crappy thoughts about ourselves and others, compare, etc., etc. So there are ways to both charge yourself and also still very many unconscious ways that we discharge. We give away our energy. We give away our magical frequencies.
Exactly. So every cell in our body is a battery. And that is something that Bruce Lipton says. And that is just right in hand with what Dr. Paulo said. So therefore, it's important that we charge it, we activate it, and optimize it. And this is because of this electromagnetic field we have around us. We are these energetic beings. So yeah, every cell, it has this charge around us, so it vibrates. And in the cell, there's all these atoms, and there we have the photons, and we have the electrons and neutrons, and basically they are the opposites, right? So that's where every atom is a holy fuck. It sparks new life. It creates new and sends signals out. And all of these signals are basically waves and particles that then communicates, and it brings out through the water molecules as well, out and communicate and get the systems working and going. And this is why a lot of people, also Mehmet Oz, the TV doctor of the 90s or early 2000s, said that the next big frontier in medicine is energy medicine, because this is where we can, when we change the frequencies, we can also change, remove blockages and activate ourselves. And you can say that all diseases is lowering our frequency, according to Dr. Joe Dispenza. So this is like the quantum model of reality. So again, you have these lower vibrating, we create blockages that it doesn't have the flow, it stagnates. And when the energy can't flow through, it creates diseases. So it's quite important that we activate and optimize our cell's energy. And then we can do that with these magical wands that we have used. So there's a synergy effect that comes with the terahertz light wave, the quantum field, and optical quartz technology. And we'll go a little bit more deeper into that later on. Is there anything you want to add to that, Ulis?
Yes, not only do diseases being not at ease lower our frequency, they are low vibrational energies in themselves. So it's like lose-lose instead of win-win. And a lot of the diseases that we have, I would say all over the world today, but mainly in the Western world, are diseases created by our lifestyles with a very low consciousness, very low awareness, stressful lives, having focus on the wrong things, being too much in immature, what I call unconscious masculine energies, and also unconscious feminine energies. So being sick could be a wake-up call, hey, what are you doing? This is the call from your soul. You need to come awake and see how you are and what you contribute to, and you do it, because we are all transmitting energies. We are transmitting and receiving energies all the time, and we leak these low frequency energies that we haven't resolved, that we haven't transformed, that we haven't, observed or transcended. So when we are transmitting energies into the collective consciousness, each and one of us like unique radio stations, we are transmitting from low frequency vibration, unhealed wounds, traumas, stress, etc. So this means that we are all contributing to the world that we see today, with all these things going on, with wars, with pollutions, with rapes, etc., we are all unconsciously contributing to this by our transmission of lower frequency out into collective consciousness.
So this is also, you can say that all these resonance creates vibration, and the vibration creates this regeneration of the cells and increase of cellular energy. So basically, we are saying that all these frequencies vibrate at different rates, and to also say that people are often scared of emotions and strong emotions, if you take that from that perspective, and so they want to be neutral, but what happens if you're with your heart, if you look at the EKJ, or what do you call it? I can't speak today, sorry. But basically, if you heart stops, it is a flat line, right? That's being neutral. So it's also important that we are not scared of these ups and downs and the vibration of everything. This is also a way that we charge and charge the cellular energy. This is like, we need the waves, otherwise there's no electricity. It's just like you pull the plug, basically.
Exactly. And I also want to add that, you know, just by sitting here and doing this talk with you, cells die and new cells are being born. So there's this, you know, this is the evolution in our bodies. We die, we are being reborn. We are not the same person as we were yesterday. And this happens automatically. You know, this is why we also age. We are transitioning to new phases. However, if I am changing and I still hold these lower frequencies, energies in my cells, in my DNA, in the sacred water, then these cell memories will continue into the next cell, into the next cell, and the next cell. So this is how we all uphold lower frequencies within us. So that's also the need to clear out these pollutions, stress, traumas, anything that is stored in the water.
Exactly. And here you can see that what happens when the resonance, so he has like a different frequency, but what happens when it's the tuning forks, it of the same, it actually start to move. So what happens is that when we have a frequency that vibrates at the same rate, it can start to move. Terahertz frequency is actually the same frequency as our healthy cells. So it generates 100 million of vibration per second, which means that when we add terahertz to our field, electromagnetic field around us, our cells start to move and remember how it is to be healthy. It start to dance and get the groove going, and that is it just remembers how it is to be healthy, because that's the terahertz is the frequency we just radiate naturally when we are healthy and aligned. I think that's pretty cool. And talking about this groove and the rhythm and sound, music affects how the vibration, the frequency. So we said that things are created through also, it also all frequencies has a sound to it. So when we listen to heavy metal music, if you look in the microscope at the water crystals that we have, you know, so we are mainly water ourselves, right? And it has a lot of how they come together in the pattern, the shape and form is not very harmonic. But if you listen to, for instance, Mozart, it has this beautiful pattern. And there's a lot of studies of the Mozart effect. There's tons of books around the effect of these musical sounds, and how, and then can you imagine how that affect the body? So it is like the crystals in the body. You want to add something?
No, you do a great job. We flow, move
We
forward.
flow. We flow forward. So Joe Dispenza, he says that it's scientifically proven that the body can heal by thought alone. So let's think about this. We have different frequencies of that, everything is energy, everything vibrates at different rates, faster or slower, basically, what we call higher and lower. If we have very low thoughts, like heavy, they're, you know, you can feel it in your body when you think negative thoughts that, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm blah, 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 how that affects your energy. You know, it doesn't feel good, does it? So then when we have higher type of thoughts, it's like, oh, I'm amazing, my God, I'm brilliant, I'm so pretty, whatever it turns us on, we feel lighter, we feel more happy, we feel more alive. So we actually access a higher frequency, although it's so much more than thoughts. Because if you don't follow the emotion with it, it's just a thought. Affirmation can have certain effect, but it has to come from also from the within. So we connect it with the emotional state of this. There's just from Heart Math Institute, they do a lot of research. They also talk about how heart talks to your brain. This actually means that when we have a different heart, we have emotional state where we feel love and feel compassion and things, we automatically have access a different set of thought patterns. There is a collective thought pattern that is out there that we tap into. So basically, it's like you tune into a different radio station when you have a different. We know that the heart reacts before we have an emotion and before we have a thought. So what we see is actually what comes last. So So it's quite interesting that, you know, one way to change our thought patterns is basically to come into our bodies, come into our heart, and open our heart and allow the flow of the heart, and then automatically your thought patterns will change.
Just to add also that this is where we are heading. We are not there quite yet, because if everybody were to live from their heart space, the world would look totally different today. There would be no wars, there would be no pollution, and we would all be, you know, loving ourselves unconditionally as well as others. But we are heading there, one heart at a time.
Exactly. And there's always the quantum leaps we can take. So, okay, oops. See if we can change. It got stuck. Here we go.
What a fun metaphor. We're not quite there. It got stuck.
Yeah, exactly. The perfect.
There you go.
Yeah. So, and we can also see then how all these, when we connect with our heart and connect with the emotions of the heart, with love and gratitude and things like that, how the structure of a water molecule will, the crystalline structure will change. So, for instance, as you were saying, we experience peace in the world. The structure is quite different than if you have some, like you discussed me. It's not very harmonious, is it? And balanced. Evil has a, it's a basically it almost looks like a galaxy, doesn't it? A wormhole or something. And while the love and gratitude, thank you, eternal, things like that, has beautiful shapes and form. And this is also part of the Dr. Emoto scientific studies. I think this is important to realize how our cells, the water molecules in our bodies actually look like, and maybe then look at why we have come to a state of disease versus the ease in our bodies. Liz, do you want to go?
No, again, that what we can see as like physical or emotional or physical diseases are really just energy being stuck. And
Yeah.
the energy that is stuck can be anything from frozen emotions, stuck emotions, unresolved emotions, to trauma, to stress, to everything. But we wouldn't be sick or get diseases if the energy flowed freely in our energetic beings.
Yeah.
But again, every disease is also an opportunity for us to clear out the old and lower frequencies, energies that doesn't work for us anymore, to clear it all out so we can raise our vibration. And I also want to say, when we talk about raise vibration, it's not to be confused or mixed with the ascending flow of, so to speak, the masculine in yogic terms. So it has nothing to do with just being in the ascending flow. We want to be enlightened, we want to rise, etc. It has to do with the merge, the holy fuck of the divine feminine and the divine masculine within each and one of us.
Which is also then the descending flow to actually, so it has to go both ways. So to be grounded and be part of connecting to then to Mother Earth, the natural aspects, and then also open. So there's a flow up and down. And also this means that when we talk about the blockages, it's also that you can have, if you only accept certain amount of emotions or thoughts, that you resist some others, actually that means there's a blockage if you don't allow things to just flow through your system. So it's not to say that you know, to also see that it's disease comes from our physical body's way of communicating for us to actually listen to see that, hey, you know what, it's, you know, it's a kick in the ass basically for us to see where do we get stuck and are not allowed to allow the flow, and where do we resist, where do we hold on that doesn't serve us anymore. With that said, it doesn't mean we shouldn't have boundaries and we should just like you know, float around, you know, out in space. Again, we need the descending flow to really be in our core essence and be aligned, be yeah,
to be and to have access to the magical frequencies that we desire.
exactly. Victor Schauberger, he's a scientist of the 1800s something who studied biomimicry. So basically he looked at nature and see how he could use the laws of nature and apply it into our daily lives. So for instance, that you can see that water follows the same laws as the blood in our own bodies and sap in plants, for instance. And when we start to follow the flows and cycles, then all of a sudden we have this infinite flow and access to the energy of the life force of the universe and all the information out there, so we can tap into all these other realities and possibilities through working with nature. So again, it's important with the descending flow of bringing connecting with Mother Earth as well. This is also how we can connect with the superpowers we have and access all of this, like to power up Manhattan, if that is what we want to use our energy for. You want to add something, Phyllis? Okay. So I'm not going to play the whole thing here, but what I really want us to realize is that the heart coherence is like how we actually create our reality. This is the superpower. This is the how we change our field. You can see this torus field, the electromagnetic field surrounding these people, and how that affects when we connect with people heart to heart. And when this is the presence, and when we really connect with someone at a deep level, that electromagnetic field expands as well. We can strengthen our field, and when we go into fear, for instance, this field will shrink. So the field around us will, where we feel trapped often, it's just like when we go into fear, it's like we can't breathe properly. We often lose the deep breaths and start to breathe very shallow and things. So it's very important that we realize the power of this coherence, that when we are aligned. And HeartMath has done some beautiful studies and work on also finding ways of really tap into these superpowers in a way, of where we start to create our own reality. Daisy is also want to join us today.
Yes, speaking about the heart.
Yeah.
Animals have it innate in them, and also small children. That's why it's so easy to love children and to love animals, because they are nothing but hearts.
Exactly. Oops, now it does that again. We'll see if I can manage to move this. Here we go. So just to then look at how can we strengthen our fields, this heart coherence, how can we have this powerful field where we become, as Ullis and I talk about often, the unfuckwithable. You know, nothing can get to you. You stand in your own power. You stand, you're not affected of the external circumstances, the pollution, the toxic people around you, the stress, all of that. It's about strengthening your field, right? And we can do that with the help of, for instance, the iTeraCare. I find that when I found this device a few months ago, it changed my life. It's the best investment I've ever done because I got my life back. And all of a sudden, it was that almost like this shortcut to be able to strengthen my field where I could be more and more myself. And I didn't have to be, I wasn't as wobbly in my field, and also my health and the clarity of the mind, and you know, the everything, and it all is about the electromagnetic field. You charge the batteries, so you know the voltage of the cell, because when we have the weakening of the cell comes when with all these external things, the emotional stress and all of this with that we talked about, and it weakens, and you know it just becomes more and more dead. And so when we charge it with the terahertz and scalar frequency through this crystalline pipe that is in this device, it's like you charge the batteries. It's like zzz, you know, but in a good way. So it revitalizes our activates our cells, and it also eliminates this sick cells from our bodies. And just to look at the terahertz, so it has the frequency range between microwave and infrared. This means that a lot of people have heard about the infrared, that you know, saunas and all these different devices. It really helps you, but often what happens is it can't penetrate into your cells as deep as it needed. It cannot go through your bones, and that is also why, as we said before, the terahertz is a frequency we radiate when we are healthy. But also when you add the terahertz, it actually, due to this middle, the microwave penetrates through everything, right? So, but that's, you know, we know that microwave is not good frequency. This doesn't mean this is anything bad. This is the good, the frequency of a healthy cell, basically. A lot of people, they studied this since, especially in China and Russia, and they call it, different scientists call it like the wave of life, or the light of life, or God's wave band. So it basically, it's almost like the good things from sunlight. It's just like charge up the batteries. It loads your batteries, basically. The solar panels, basically. And it has the frequency range of the between the 100 hertz and to 10 terahertz. That's the range. So it's not just one frequency, it's just like a whole range that's called terahertz. So these iTeraCare devices, they look like a hairdryer, sounds like a hairdryer, and it has these terahertz, but a terahertz only penetrates you know, like an inch into your body. But when in the combination with these scalar frequencies and the optical quartz with a lot of trace minerals, it actually can penetrate 20 to 30 centimeters into your body. So it actually can go in and activate your cell at this and end your DNA. So basically it activates your normal cells, and they eliminate the unhealthy cells. And we know that all the cells, they you know, they die and they replicate, and you get new cells. They also use the same replicate from the previous version, right? So it's very similar. So what happens is when we start to then flush out our cells that doesn't function, we get quite fast magical results, because the sick cells are not replicated. They are flushed out of our system instead. So it is quite magical to experience. That's why it's often called a magical wand. You can blow a few minutes and it's like pain is gone, poof, within minutes. I had was diagnosed with fibromyalgia like a decade ago. Within 2 days, the pain was gone. I've tried everything. I'm not saying I'm cured. I'm not, I wouldn't say that, but I just haven't felt any pain since. If that, how long that lasts, God knows. but I never experienced something so powerful in my life, and it works on my husband had these winter depressions. In 4 days he started to feel uplifted and more himself again. It's almost like you lay on a summer beach and just your system relax and you feel just wonderful. So it's my new best friend. Sorry, Ulis.
So also important to know that like these quantum terahertz frequency devices, they don't cure you. You cure yourself with the help of these devices. Like they increase your ability to self-heal and so it's nothing that they do to you, except that they help you to heal yourself, because that's what we are designed to do. We are designed to heal from pretty much anything and everything that is stored within our bodies.
Exactly. It's create a healthy environment so the body can do what's supposed to do. And I think it's pretty cool that because it clears the blockages that we say, we put the trauma thing or emotional or, all these blockages we have where it's non-flow in our bodies, it gets cleared. It clears out the all the inner water and change the structure of the water. And we can then use this to activate the acupressure points on our hands and our feet, ears, even our face and everywhere. So we can also, for instance, I had a bleeding in my eye, and that I wanted to have help with, and then I also have implants with lenses in my eyes, so I'm not allowed to blow directly on the implants. So I just blew on my toes. And the doctors, they like, I don't know what you do, but keep on doing because it works. And now they said I would never regain my eyesight on that eye, and it's 80% back. So there's like, well, as I said, there's a reason why we call it the magical wand. Also, there's actually a scientific study that says that it activates stem cells. Terahertz frequencies activate stem cells. So when we blow on our back, up and down, we can then start to regenerate the stem cells and activate the DNA within the core of our cells, which is pretty cool. So it basically, some of the benefits is that it eliminates unhealthy cells and it activates the inert cells. And it is like the dormant cells that are boosted, they come alive. We're like sleeping cells that become alive again. And it increased the self-healing ability. We clear meridians and lymph points and also activate the nerve system, which is like for people like me with different, like fibromyalgia and stuff like that, that is often a hypersensitive nervous system. That so it like calms and you know, makes that more balanced. It improves the micro circulation. It regulates the gland. It removes body humidity and increase the blood circulation. So, which is very important in these days where a lot of people have issues with the blood clots and things that creates all the different type of things. So again, it just basically creates an environment where the body can start to flow. It removes the blockages that stands in the way, so the body functions more optimally. And we can also use it on the water. So you can blow on your water, and water molecules, they always cluster together in different clusters. And they, you know, it shifts how large these clusters are. But what happens is that we want them to become smaller clusters so you can actually enter the cell through the cell membrane. And that, so when we blow on the water, you can see here on the pictures how the blood from a microscope, how it actually shifts how they cluster together, the blood cells, and how they become more more free and flowing after blowing it with a terahertz. If you are interested to know a bit more about the science behind the terahertz and also quantum and the water, you can go to frequencywonders.com, and then there's a whole section about under wonders about so it's /science. You will find a lot of scientific articles to explain some of these things for you that are interested in going deeper. This is my another new best friend that complements the wand. So this is called the iTeraBio, and that also promotes circulation. It activates your cell. It's anti-aging, promotes metabolism, you know, purifies the body, removes inflammation. What I like about it, you put your feet in it, and then you can just feel the energy start to move through your body, up through your feet, and it strengthens your body. I find it's quite interesting because I notice I start to have more muscles. I like that I can sit and sip a cup of something and have exercise. They say that 15 minutes in this is equivalent to an hour of workout. So this is my type of buddy that I like these type of devices. I have to say, you know. Alice.
Yes, thank you. So basically what we've experienced is that what we wrote about in the holy fucking sacred water is now tangible also as a tool. Not only can we cleanse our inner water and we can raise our energetic frequencies by ourselves, by our mindsets, and etc., we can also have these amazing magical ones to do it for us. So as I told in the beginning, it's like we have manifested this potent tool by what we were wording about in holy fucking sacred water. And together they unravel the secret connections to everything, how we are energetic beings, how we are in charge of ourselves and the lives that we create, and how we can use different methodologies and techniques and tools to clear out our inner polluted waters and to be the high, vibrant, energetic beings that we are meant to be. So a holy fuck and this wand is the secret connections to everything.
Exactly. And it's so lovely to just have these something tangible that you can do yourself, and you're not dependent on other people to do it for you. So you can actually that's also part of taking back the power, that you can sit at home and help your loved ones and yourself and your whole family to have this, to come back to balance and stand in your own power and self-heal and come back to yourself, to know who you are at a deeper level, and come back to the power and be high vibe and access much more life force, much more energy. I think that's pretty amazing. So
I totally agree.
yes. But so for you that are interested to learn more about these products or want to get one, go to the person who's presented you to the device or to this video. But also, if there isn't anyone who have presented, feel free to go to frequencyandwellness.com and /TheoLeo. And from there, you can also go to frequencywonders.com to read about all these studies and get much more videos and information about this.
Yes, so thank you so much, Susanna, for your knowledge and to share your knowledge with us here today. And thank you also, you who are here and listening or listening in the replay. And I was just wondering if you could put like a slide on where if I'm going to do a reactivation for us, so they don't have to look at me.
They can look at Daisy.
They can look at Daisy.
I can.
You heard her name, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so just a slide. Thank you.
Yeah, let's do this
one. Yeah, this one. Okay.
Oops.
So this is a specialized reactivation for you, channeled from the Akashic record, from our hearts to your heart. So just please close your eyes and become aware of your own breaths and the echo of all these information that you have just received. And focus on your breath. Focus on your heart and your lungs, where your breaths are transported out into your blood, in your veins, to your cells, to your organs, to your chakras, to all of your bodies, to all of you. And that my words right here and right now from my heart in a high frequency flows through the ether, through the screen, into your ears, into your brain, and then all the way down with your blood to your heart, in your heart, pumping out these words like keys to a higher vibration. So put your intent in your heart. Keep on breathing long, deep, conscious breaths, yogic breaths. Maybe inhale through the nostril and exhale through the mouth. To inhale everything that is good, that you desire and you want, and you expand in that feeling. And you exhale and let go of all the toxics, of all the lower frequencies that you have stored in your body, in your water. And as much as you want to rise, as much you need to descend. As much as you want to expand, as much you need to expand and explore your inner depths. So with your intent in your heart, you see a magical staircase. And you start to walk on that staircase. The fun thing is that for every step that you take that is taking you in an upward flow is also doing the same in a downward flow. So you are taking step by step. You raise your vibration by using the ascending and the descending flow. A holy merge, a holy fuck of the feminine and the masculine. And the power is within you. Everything that you desire, everything that you long for is within you. So you step by step, claim back your power, your knowledge, your sacredness, your divinity. You remember who you are. This magical step that takes you not only upwards, but also in the descending flow deeper and deeper into your heart coherence. And you know who you are. You know you're a soul from divine source, an eternal, limitless, powerful, beyond imagination. And all the answers lies within you. And you are breathing deep, conscious breaths as you are walking this stairway that connects heaven and earth and everything in between that is you. And the more you rise, the more you descend, the more you remember who you are, the more power you have access to, the more divinity, sacredness. And you can feel it now. You can feel that you are a powerhouse, an eternal, big, everlasting, in evolution powerhouse, in constant movement to be the best version of yourself. Through your heart, in your heart, deeper and deeper it goes. And here you inhale and you allow the expansion. Maybe also like a sensation of falling deeper into your heart, surrendering to your heart's wisdom. And you exhale anything and everything that doesn't serve you. And you reclaim all that magical frequencies that is you in your origin. And take another breath. Inhale through the nose. Feel the expansion. And you exhale and let it go. And just see, feel, and observe if there's a difference. And you allow everything to be the way it is. Just sit with what is, knowing that you are so much more than this body, so much more than your thoughts, so much more than your actions. You inhale, start to move your body, and you exhale and come back. You are now reactivated into your original magical frequencies. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for being here, for listening, and thank you, Susanna, for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge with us here and to contributing to a better world. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. As always, I love your reactivations, and thank you for coming, and thank you for listening. And I look forward to playing more with you, Alyssa, and with you who have tuned in with us today. So thank you.
Thank you.